A single comic book sold for $1.7 million, and we are going to cover it here on the Paper Chase Micro Report. Happy Saturday morning to you all. Another beautiful weekend. This is the Paper Chase Micro Report ending for the week of April the 1st. And boy, was it a week of some crazy sales. So typically when I do this thing, what I'm doing is I'm looking for high sales, low sales, dramatic sales in the market that just catch my eye. And I just verbally explain what I think of them. If it's a good deal or a bad deal, why it happened. You might be able to gain some good information from this, although this is not necessarily a financial advising type of video. So take anything that I say with a grain of salt and please do your own research. That being said, this past week was pretty wild and they had some crazy sales because the heritage market, which is probably one of the most reputable, notable comic or collectible rather, auction houses in the country. So we are going to cover those towards the latter half of the video. And I'm going to do my typical eBay scouring for the first half. So, so let's dig in. Okay, this is my style right here. House of Mystery number 19 in a 9.6 off-white to white pages. I love stuff like this. So this one would be an early Bronze Age comic here. This is a tough book to get in this higher grade. This is something I would have bought all day long because this is what I like to collect. I like to collect horror. Anything that I find stays in the PC like that. So this book sold for $553. Pretty cool. This is not a book that comes across very often. This is Tales to Astonish number 13. This is the first appearance of Groot. So this one sold for, looks like $1,700, winning bid. That was based off of 8 bids. Let's check out the condition on it, see how that looks. Okay, so we know it's low grade, very low grade. Staples look to be intact. Page quality, Marvel chipping, all that. All right, so a very rough estimate of grade, I would say, on this book here is probably going to be like a 2.5 to a 3.0. So let's check that out. Let's say if they were to get this book graded, if they made a good decision here. Okay, so if this book came back, which I do think it would hit a minimum of like a 2.5, fair market value is $2,800, and they got it for... And they bought it for $1,700. So grading fee total for this book would probably be somewhere around $70 after shipping and everything. So yeah, so pretty good decision, pretty good buy there. I like it. This is cool. 52 issues of Uncanny X-Men. This is the start of the iconic Chris Claremont run. You can see they got issue number 94, giant size X-Men in there. This might have been a steal right here. One thing to keep in mind when you're searching eBay, a lot of times the best deals to find are in lots. So when you search for lots on eBay, you know, you can often find books that are kind of hidden or maybe not showcased where they're going to get a lot of shows. So that's a little tip for you. If you're going to look for eBay books, search for lots. If you're only looking for the one book, well then you can actually take the other books that's in the lot and resell those and get the book you were actually looking for at a cheaper price. So this one was really cool. Let's see if we can check out the condition of some of these. The giant size X-Men is it's going to be rather low grade, probably with the subscription crease, which is this giant line that breaks down the center of the book here. Color breaking line, probably like a 4.5 to maybe a 5.0, maybe a 5.0. And then let's see what the condition of the 94 is. The 94... actually looks pretty decent. I would say maybe a 7.0. Some of this stuff on the side, I don't think that's color breaking. I think that's printer defects, which don't hurt the grade as bad. But the back of it looks okay. Nothing too crazy there. What other issues do we got? These, nothing too crazy. No major keys there. So we've got the Days of Future Past storyline. We've got the Dark Phoenix. We have the Dark Phoenix saga. We've got Wolverine's first solo story. So these are all pretty much the bigger keys. First Dazzler. Let's see if he's got the... Yep, first Emma Frost. All these books right here are ranging around the minimum of maybe, let's say, a 6.5 to a 7.0. And what did they buy this for? $2,702. In my opinion, I think this is a fairly good buy because your giant size X-Men... Actually, let's look up the value of that by itself. So giant size X-Men by itself, let's say really beat this book up on the grade, let's say minimum this grade is a 4.5. Yeah, pretty much what I thought. So 4.5 on the giant size X-Men by itself is a $2,000 book. And then this person got all these other keys for $2,702. The X-Men 94, if that grades at something probably at like a 6 point to 7.0, hopefully that's about $100 per point book. So maybe $600 to $700 at a 7.0 for the X-Men 94. The Claremont X-Men stuff right now is really becoming a very affordable investment for people to start getting into. I think this is a really great decision. You slab up the bigger key books, and Claremont X-Men books are pretty much as liquid as it gets in comics. So at any point, if this person wants to sell these and get most of their money back, I don't think they're going to have a very rough time doing that. So this is a pretty good deal, pretty smart buy in my opinion. Okay, we got another one of my girls. Now this is going to be funny because this is going to show you what PGX does. For those of you who are not familiar, PGX is a grading company like CGC, but picture CGC on the totem pole here. PGX is like at the bottom. So a book will typically go down in value if it's graded by PGX just because they're not a reputable grading company. And they've been known in the past to give people better grades on their books because they think that's what people want. Completely threw their integrity out the window. Not a great thing. So what we're going to do is this gorgeous book here, we're going to look at, so this 9.0 sale was for $1,700. Let's see what this would have been if it would have sold for in a CGC slab. Yeah, so this thing dropped by about $300, and I guarantee you it's all because of the slab that it was in. Increasing there. I mean, look at this, all right? Look. You've got bends up here in the top corner. You've got a color breaking crease right here on the right. And then you've literally got small tears on the right side of the book. You've got a small tear down here at the bottom. You've got a small tear here. You've got creasing all over this. This book is like an 8.0 to an 8.5. And these people just gave it a 9.0. So here's the risky thing about that. This person has to keep this book in their PGX case because if they were to break this out, send it to CGC, they're going to get a grade drop to an 8.5 or an 8.0. And if they do, they're going to get a price drop as well. So don't know if this was the best decision given that it was in a PGX and it's not a true 9.0. And another one of my grails, the Back to the Future #1 Z-Box variant. This is the Gray Sports Almanac variant. This thing is so rare, so hard to come by. Look at it. Oh my God, this is gorgeous. In a 9.8. This is a tough book right here. So let's see what it sold for. It's best offer accepted on $1,300. So it sold for $1,000. I want to look more into that and see if that's a price drop. I feel like it might be, but who knows? This book doesn't sell very often, especially in a 9.8. So the fair market value for a 9.8 is about $1,100, so just a couple $100 under what it typically sells for. But look how crazy this thing shot up just over the past couple of years once people started realizing the rarity of this. All right, all right, this is cool. This is a raw copy. At first glance, the thumbnail looks pretty good. This is Marvel Spotlight #5, another first appearance of Ghost Rider. Let's see what the grade looks like on this. Let's see if these people got a good deal. $11.50. Off the top of my head, from how this thing looks, I'm going to say this might be a pretty damn good deal. Condition-wise, it looks really good. Light tanning on the back. Oh my God, this person got a steal, I think. I mean, this thing I would say is like an 8.0 to a 7.5. I don't see I do not see this being underneath a 7.5 at all. Creases, tiny piece out of back cover though. Let's see, where's that at? Creases, oh, that little chip right there? That? Okay. So you gotta realize when buying some stuff, Some people way overgrade, some people way undergrade. This person's calling this copy a 5.5. I think with a good clean and a press, I think that this book is like a 7.0 at the bare minimum. Even with the small chip out of the back cover. And it looks extreme. I can see it in the photos. It looks extremely tiny. So let's go even lower than what I think the lowest possible grade is. I'm thinking the lowest grade this will get is a 7.0. We're going to go 6.5. Marvel Spotlight, number 5. $1,600. So this person got a great deal. This high was $3,000. That's almost a 50% drop for this book here since the comic boom. And I think this person got a great deal. I think this book's going to grade out as a 7.0 after they do a good clean and press on it. And if it were to get the 7.0, remember this is a 6.5. This is like an absolute worst case scenario. If it gets the grade, I predict $1,800, and they bought it for $1,000. So pretty good job there, pretty good deal. Oh, this is cool. Check this out. So this is a single page from Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man. And this is the splash page. I think this is an absolute steal. So basically the splash page is the first thing that you see when you open up the front cover of a book. So if you don't count the cover as the first appearance, and once the story technically starts, this is the first appearance. Amazing buy. Amazing buy. If you're going to have a single page from Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man, this is literally it. This is literally the first appearance of Peter Parker. That is the first time the world met Peter Parker. That is really cool. I think it's a steal at $1,300. Nice job. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to hop off of eBay and we're going to go over to Heritage Auctions. And with Heritage Auction 2, a lot of things that sell is original art, which I think is any day of the week, original art is actually a better investment than comics. This is the actual artwork that was drawn that all of these comics were printed off of. Another thing to keep in mind for Heritage Auctions, if you're not familiar with them, the total price is with what they call a buyer's premium. This is pretty much Heritage Auctions fee for selling. So when we're talking about the price that this thing sold for, it's with a buyer's premium. That's the total out of pocket for the item sold. So first on the list, this is amazing. This is a page right out of Giant Size X-Men #1. Look at the detail. This is what I love about this. Look at the detail. Can we see this? Yeah, we can. Okay. Look at the detail on the screen here. I mean, this is all the original inks and pencils. You can see where they kind of cut out certain parts to make edits in the dialogue. This is just amazing. So here they are in the Savage Land from Giant Size X-Men #1. Awesome header here with Thunderbird and Cyclops. Right? Thunderbird? Yeah, pretty sure that's his name. Awesome header here with Cyclops. This is so cool. So this piece of art actually sold for $50,400 with the buyer's premium. Pretty crazy. This next one was gorgeous. Look at this here. This is original art from Alex Ross, and look at the detail. This dude is on another level. Alex Ross, let me tell you guys, Alex Ross, look at this. This guy is on another level. Look at that. Unbelievable. And I don't see too many of his original interior pages ever come up for auction. You know, maybe a cover or something like that, but not a whole lot of his original interior pages. And this is just amazing. So this sold This sold for $33,600, which is pretty crazy. Okay, so now we're gonna get into some of the bigger keys here before we wrap it up. This is kind of where we really test the pulse of the comic book market in books like Amazing Fantasy 15, first appearance of Spider-Man. This is a 7.5. Presents pretty well. I mean, Spidey on the cover looks great. You have a couple of chips out of the front top left corner here. So this book sold for $117,000. So if we go over to Amazing Fantasy 15, its high during the comic boom was $300,000. Its last sale was almost $200,000. And this one here sold for $117,000. It sold for almost $20,000 less than the last time. Definitely indicative of the market that we are in right now. This is a pretty low sale. And this is the over 50% drop for the comic boom. So this one was definitely a loss for the comic market. This one was really cool. We covered this one on the Into the Void podcast. That's a podcast that we do on the channel with Reverend Wormwood. You can find him on Instagram. But we covered the trailer for this book right here. This was in a really cool collection that a son inherited from his dad. And this is one of the books that they sold. This is a Batman #1 and an 8.0. This is pretty wild. This one right here sold for a total of $1.1 million. This is about $300,000 below its average. So, not too bad, not too terrible. I mean, this book doesn't sell very often. This kind of makes sense given where we're at in the market. It was unfortunately a downfall. But $1.1 million for 8.0 Batman #1. And then this one, so this book here, this is Crime Suspense Stories, issue number 22. This book is historically pretty big. When they created the Comics Code Authority, they brought certain books to court. And they were trying to show people that there needs to be some regulations on the books coming out because a lot of them were very violent, and kids could just walk into these drugstores and pick up these horror-filled, magazines without any supervision at all, And look, you got the woman decapitated, him holding her head up. I mean, that's just like, this is one of many books that were just like this. And so this book was one of the books noted in the court hearing to create the regulations on comic books. And it's 9.2. Extremely tough book to get in this grade. Almost impossible. It doesn't come around very often. It sold for $72,000, which is pretty crazy. Another one that was really cool that sold, this was a 9.6 graded Detective Comics number 140. This is the first appearance of the Riddler. Amazing anomaly of a book here. Yellow cover, 9.6 is near mint, from a book that was printed in 1948. Outstanding. Look at this. Unreal. Unreal. This book here sold for $360,000. Pretty wild. Now for the big dog. Detective Comics 27. If you're not familiar with this book, this is the first appearance of Batman in comics. A book that is super scarce. Even the auctioneer was saying Action Comics #1, which is the first appearance of Superman, comes around more than this book does. So this book was printed in 1939. It's a 6.0, gorgeous copy. And the last sale for this book was $700,000. Let's see when the last sale was. God, this book's crazy. So that's how often this book comes around for sale. The last time this book was up for sale was March 21st, 2018, and it sold for $732,000. Now this time around, this past Thursday, it sold for $1.7 million. That is over 100% increase in price sold, and an all-time new record high for this book in this grade. this was a huge win for the comic market and really just showed, these major blue key books are a piece of history. People with the money will pay whatever they need to pay when the opportunity comes around. So this was completely outstanding, $1.7 million sale. I mean, look at this thing. Can you imagine even holding this book? Can you imagine even holding this book or stumbling upon this book? Especially in this grade. This is unreal. Crazy. All right, well, that does it for this comic market report, guys. I hope you picked up some useful information. Maybe I did all the heavy lifting for you. Now you don't have to go scroll through your phone and look for stuff. Also, please hit the like button if you thought the video deserved it, and check out the links below for where I sell books on Instagram, eBay, Shortboxed, whatnot, stuff like that. And yeah, it's another Paper Chase comic market report. Always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the next one.